Hey everyone, Wade here from NFL in London. Why do I sound so funny? I've got a cold. Another one. I'm going to punch it in the dick. Anyway, let's talk about NFL. No, let's not talk about colds. I want to talk about Week 11 in the NFL. Things have been getting a little topsy-turvy, haven't they? So many wins, so many losses, so many teams you think are going to do well. The Cowboys are number 1. That's crazy, isn't it? And the Patriots, number 2. You see the Tony Romo sort of I'm out of here speech. I'll be interested to see where Tony Romo goes the next season. But let's talk fantasy this week. In particular, we're talking DraftKings. Now, if you want to play along at DraftKings, go to draftkings.co.uk/NFL in London. You can play against us. We also have a Hippodrome tournament, which is NFL in London /Hippo. But for this one, I'm going to talk about our NFL in London. It's free to join, guys. Free to join. There'll be a link right underneath there, and you can play along. These are my picks for Week 11. Now, Week 10 and Week 9, I didn't do so well. But there was a lot of things up and down. Some people got hurt, a lot of players, and that's the whole thing with injuries. Is someone going to come back? Are you going to be able to use them in your schedule that week? Always good to check just before game time to make sure that your players, if they're questionable, whether or not they're going to be playing that week, and sometimes if they are going to be questionable, they probably won't get a lot of snaps anyway. So you got to make sure that you're watching your players. Okay, let's start with my players. My first one, my quarterback. This guy's been ripping it. Marcus Mariota, Tennessee. Did you see what he did to Green Bay last week? He can find targets all over the field. He's got the running game of DeMarco Murray, but also he's got Delanie Walker, the tight end. You've got so many weapons that Mariota can throw to. He's moved the ball around the field. Green Bay looked hapless. I don't know what's going to happen with them this season. I thought Chicago might have been able to come up and maybe push them out of the top this season, but after what we did to the Bucs last week, that's not going to happen. So I've taken Marcus Mariota. This guy's always scoring great fantasy points. He's averaging 21.1 fantasy points per game. For the value, he's at 6,700. If you look at the start of the season, he was actually down around the 5,000 range. So obviously his confidence has gone up. I've got him on my quarterback. My running back, same team. Hey, I'm stacking it. This guy, DeMarco Murray. Now, technically he's questionable right now, but questionable into how many touchdowns he's going to score because he's been gashing through defenses. Now, the reason I chose it in the stack is Tennessee is playing Indianapolis this week. Indianapolis can't stop anything. They can't stop the run. They can't stop the pass. While Andrew Luck can throw up a lot of points, they also get scored on a lot of points. So it's a lot of keepy-uppy for them. It's trying to keep up. But DeMarco Murray has been the beast of this season. 8,200. He's the most expensive running back this week. And for good reason, I've got him on my list. Now, my second running back, is he a running back? Is he a slot back? He can catch, he can run. It's James White from New England. LeGarrette Blount has been doing really well for them this season, but White is one of those threats. He's one of those guys that Tom Brady, when he's going to do those short yard passes, can either decide to hand it off to him or throw it to him for short yards. He's been playing absolutely amazing. He's only 4,300, but he is just one of these guys that is going to get you a lot of points. He's averaging 10.1 a game. Just watch that number to go up as Tom Brady starts moving around. If Gronk is going to be out, going to put a lot of pressure on Bennett, which means they're going to have to spread the ball around. Chris Hogan could also be out. So we'll have to see. White is, to me, a very good value pick. Next guy who I've got, my next wide receiver from Washington, Jamison Crowder. He can return kicks. He can catch the ball. This guy for Kirk Cousins has been the sort of go-to guy. If you look at it now, he's 5,400. He was in the 3,000 range at the start of the season. But this guy has great hands, great separation, and after the ball, once he catches it, this guy can do a lot of damage on you. They are playing Green Bay this week, and if we looked what happened last week of what Mariota did to Green Bay, I don't know how Green Bay, their defense is obviously banged up, but how are they going to stop Washington? Washington can put a lot of threats on Washington. If you watched them last week, can continue to score. They've got Jordan Reed back. They've got so many weapons in this Washington offense. I see this as a really high-scoring game. I think Green Bay-Washington is going to be a very exciting game to watch. But Jamison Crowder is a guy who's just an amazing catch, and obviously at 5,400, amazing. So I'm going to take him. My next guy, also 5,400. If you watched the game last week, that's right, I'm talking Jordan Matthews. Okay, sure, the balls were a lot underthrown to him a lot last week from Wentz, but this guy can make the catch, and you just watch these diving catches he can make. His hand-eye coordination, his ability to hold onto the ball is really what makes him exceptional. He is questionable this week, but they're going to have to bring him back. He did so much damage last week that, again, playing against Seattle, where, New England was able to score, but Seattle has shown that they're able to be scored upon, and I think that Philadelphia, who have beaten a few big teams as of late, this is going to be a heck of a matchup on Sunday night. Averaging 14.1 fantasy points per game at 5,400. You got to take this guy. All right, my next wide receiver, the golden touch. That's right. It's Golden Tate. Look, Stafford has got the ball. He can spread it around. The reason I'm taking Golden Tate this week, they are playing Jacksonville. And, Blake Bortles has been scoring some points, but this Jacksonville defense has been atrocious. Golden Tate has been one of those go-to receivers. Obviously, you've got Marvin Jones Jr., who's also in the mix. But when the ball gets spread around like this, I really like it. A lot of yards to be thrown out. They've had some time off to recoup. Detroit, I think, is be coming back full on firing. They're at home this week. And Golden Tate averaging 13.1 fantasy points per game, $5,300 on DraftKings. You got to take this guy. Very good value for him. My tight end, another part of the stack. If you watch Mariota hit this guy, that's right, it's tight end from Tennessee, Delanie Walker. Delanie Walker, 14.7 fantasy points per game. He's gone from being a sort of low to mid-level tight end to being someone who's going to be consistent, getting a lot of balls. I think, again, in the red zone this week, Mariota is going to be moving it around. Is he going to run for one? Who knows? But Delanie Walker is the big man who can really push that ball in. Short yardage gains, 14.7 fantasy points per game. As a tight end and as part of my stack going for Tennessee this weekend, he's on my list for that. Now, my flex, I mentioned him earlier. It's Matthew Stafford is going to be throwing the ball around. And one of the guys he's going to be throwing it to, Marvin Jones Jr. Detroit is playing Jacksonville, 14.8 fantasy points per game. This guy, he's got speed. Once they find the gaps, because they're going to have to play some sort of zone protection to stop. They're not going to play man-on-man. I can't imagine that Jacksonville could cover man-on-man. So this guy's going to get a lot of yards. He's 5,000, which makes him a great value in terms of putting him on your fantasy team in terms of a balanced fantasy team. My final is my defense. And my defense this week, I took the New York Giants. Why am I taking the New York Giants? They say, Wade. Someone maybe says that out there. As a Bears fan, because the Bears are playing the Giants. Did you see Jay Cutler last week? His laser eye vision. He was throwing interceptions. He was throwing some horrible balls. I mean, the week before when he played well against Minnesota, and he hit Jeffrey in the back of the head, and Jeffrey's out this week. So the Giants are going to they're going to cover basically, everyone is going to be covered. Eddie Royal will be all over the place. They're going to shut down a lot of the run. It means that Jay Cutler is going to have to be forced to improvise. And Jay Cutler does improv like Steve Carell did improv on The Office when his character, do you remember that when he tried to improv? It's a gun! I'll kill you. It's pretty much like that. He can't improv, we're shit. So I see him getting under a lot of pressure. The offensive line for Chicago is absolute garbage. So the Giants are going to put a lot of pressure on my Bears. It's going to be a sad game to watch. But even sadder to see Jay Cutler go next year. Hooray! Okay, let's take a look at my lineup. Overall lineup, here we go. Marcus Mariota is my quarterback. I got DeMarco Murray as my running back 2, James White from New England. Going through my wide receivers, it is Jamison Crowder from Washington, obviously taking on Green Bay, who has some defensive issues. Followed up with Jordan Matthews, questionable. I'll follow him at game time, see if I've got to replace him, but I think he's going to be fine. Golden Tate taking on the Jacksonville Jaguars. My tight end, stacking him up from the Tennessee viewpoint, Delanie Walker. Flexing with Detroit's own Marvin Jones Jr. and my defense, hitting the New York Giants. If you want to play against me, hey, why not play against? We got loads of free tournaments you can play in this weekend. Go to NFL in London on our website. You can go to NFL in London on our Facebook page, or just go to DraftKings.co.uk/NFL in London. You could win big. Play against us this weekend. It's going to be fun. Good luck on Sunday.